Hello and welcome to today's premiere. It's been a while since I've done a premiere. It's been a couple of days actually, so not that long if we think about it, but of course I will be in the live chat as always during these premieres to be able to answer any of your questions. Now this video is going to be around 15 to 20 minutes long, so not very long, so as not to bore you too much, but I mostly wanted to do this video just to thank you very much for helping me reach 10,000 subscribers, for sticking with me all throughout the bear market. I know you've probably been in this space for some time. You may be new as well, so if you're new, you're very welcome. I hope I'll be able to help you learn as much as possible about the cryptocurrency space. I do have a beginners playlist, so do check that out on my channel. But if you just basically go to the playlists here and you just look at all these different sections that I've got set up here for interviews, for news, and there's a tutorial section for beginners, so do check that out if you're new. Again, obviously if you're not new, then check the reviews, check the news, and check the interviews. But it's been great. It's been a great ride. I mean, I started this channel back in April 2018, and I just didn't expect that it's finally gonna happen. I've been grinding it all throughout the bear market, trying to grow it, you know. So obviously I couldn't have done this without you, the community. But aside from thanking you, I do want to talk about a few things in today's video as well. Of course, I do want to talk about the prices in today's video. It's mostly going to be focused on the chart for PCX USDT, that's for ChainX, also for .USDT on Binance. I'll be looking at KSM as well. And then I'll also look at Phala Network, which has recently been listed on Binance in the innovation zone. And as I've said before, I do personally expect that Darwinia's Ring and K-Ton maybe, but definitely Ring. I think if any of the two was to get listed, I would definitely say Ring would probably get listed on Binance Innovation Zone next, and then maybe Crust from Crust Network with the ticker symbol C or U, which is the storage solution. I've said that before in a different video when I found out that Phala Network got listed there, but we'll take a look at that in a moment, and I'll just reiterate and explain to you why I think that's going to happen. But to look at the prices here just quickly, I mean, we can see that Bitcoin is down from 50,000. It's struggling to break past 50,000, but nevertheless, it's not bad. As long as it holds around this area between 45 and 50, as long as it trades sideways, that's fine, right? Because that's the moment that the old coins are accumulating and are doing really well in general when we have this kind of sideways movement. Now, Ethereum is under 1,500. I know it was like 1,500 earlier today. Yesterday as well, so not too bad. Cardano, again, I think it broke the last all-time high, 120. Binance Coin, again, it's struggling to get back to the 300 range after that humongous pump. Polkadot 3484, but we'll look at that in a moment when we take a look at the chart. But enough about the charts. Actually, I wanted to go back to this tweet that I've posted back on, it was like, I think it was in mid-February if I'm not mistaken, but we'll take a look at that in a moment. And it was a poll. But before that, I just want to give another shout out to Beat the Rush. Sophia is her name, from Portugal, who's prepared a Polkadot cake, as you can see here. She did a dedicated video and she tagged me in this with regards to the Polkadot cake, because she knows I'm a huge fan of Polkadot, and her channel is a cooking channel. She's a vegan. She cooks all types of vegan food and also cakes. So if you're interested in that, do check it out. I strongly recommend it. It's a really undervalued channel. She does high quality videos, very short, but very helpful, right? If you want to prepare that cookie, that cake, right, and you're out of ideas, or maybe even a meal, something different that you haven't tried before, do check it out. Maybe in the future she's going to do a Cardano cake for the Cardano community, maybe an Ethereum cake, maybe a Bitcoin cake. So then all those people that are supporting those projects can go over and maybe subscribe and watch the videos, right, to offer this lady some support. But nevertheless, great work. So I'd like to thank her once again. I know I thanked her on Twitter, but I'll thank her once again just in case she's watching this video. Now, the next thing that I wanted to go back to here, let me scroll down, is with regards to one poll that I did. And I did say I'm going to go back to this on the 1st of March. So apologies, I know it's the 2nd of March now. Let's see, where is it? It's regards to the PCX price. There we go. So PCX had put in a new all-time high on the 17th of February. Okay, so that's when it got to like $15.60 on MXC at least. So my question was, how much do you think PCX will be worth by the 1st of March? So amazingly, like, a lot of people are super hyped about the price. So we could see here that 39.2% voted over $30. So people obviously thought that it's going to 2x from that all-time high just because of the way it was going. But what's interesting is that the people that voted the least, less than $15, are actually the winners. They were actually right. I know there were some people who are more realistic here, 15, 20, but the pessimistic people actually won, if you think about it, because it just shows you, right? It just shows you, like, when you have this kind of humongous pump and humongous hype, there's always some sort of pullback. Nothing goes up in a straight line. Things come down, right? But again, they could have been wrong, right? It could have been $20 and it could have stuck around that, right? Assuming you would have hit around 30. But yeah, I mean, it's just amazing to see that 125 votes in total. So that was good. I'm going to do more of these polls going forward just because I really enjoy them, and it's always good to see what other people's opinions are. Now let's take a look at the price now that we're talking about PCX. So if we go to the 1 hour chart, it would make more sense here. As you can see, we are trading sideways now. So ever since we had this new all-time high, you can see we went down. We touched that area of support, which was around $8. It was a small support area, not too strong. As you can see here, there was a bit of a struggle trying to break it, but then we eventually did here. So this acted like as good support here, right? This was resistance before, is now support. And as you can see, we bounced off close enough to it again on the second time here when we had this last dip. But at least we've retested, right? We've retested 1160 here, but we weren't able to go higher, to go past 12. Because if we would have broken past 12, then we would have definitely come out of this trend. I really thought that we're going to come out of this trend when I saw this, just because of the form that it took here. But it just shows you that people started to sell here. I'm not sure what was the reason, but it happened, right? And then we're seeing some sideways movement here, so it's never too bad, right? Personally, I do think we could potentially see higher prices, assuming that Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing okay, just because we do have a bit of a dependency on Bitcoin in general. This is like not just PCX, but the altcoin market. When Bitcoin drops in price, all the alts are affected. Again, this is if you're new and you're not sure, this is pretty much how it works. So we could potentially expect another pop up to the upside here, possibly to around $12 at first, before we go higher, I think, in my personal opinion. I don't see us going down below 8, to be honest, but maybe we could be retesting 9. There's also that bearish scenario here, but it's just that the form this is taking here, it's like this kind of it's like a serpent, right? If you see here, it usually goes like that, right? It goes up and then it comes down a little bit, and then it goes up higher here based on this. But again, it could just go like this, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to necessarily pop out of here, right? Out of this area, out of this range. So we could potentially see lower prices. We could potentially see 950 and so. But one thing that made me bullish here is this $10 order. And this is not a bot, actually. I thought it was a bot, but I saw that I was actually looking at this. I saw this was posted for quite some time now. Whoever placed this limit order, unless they decide to cancel it. So this could potentially hold as some sort of support here, this $10 range, unless it gets sold into, because up to get to this 3.4k PCX here, you'll need to sell 1,600. So it's quite a lot of money if you think about it, right? But anything could happen, right? Anything could happen because you can leverage trade PCX, so you can 4x leverage trade. So if somebody shorts a large amount, they could potentially dump that. So nothing is set in stone, but nevertheless it acts as quite good support here, and I'm pretty confident with this. And as you can see here, it's quite thin, up to 1070. So we could potentially see 1070 11 in the next day or so, and then we'll have to monitor it. But anyway, it's good to see it trading sideways for a moment while it's accumulating before the Kusama parachain auctions start. And I know that in the white paper for ChainX, they've actually said that they're not planning to bond Sherpa X until April. So as you know, the auctions are supposed to start in March, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Sherpa X are going to be the winners from the beginning, right? So it could be that they're not ready yet. It could be that they still have some development to do, but apparently April is part of the roadmap. So we could likely see them take part in April, or maybe even on the first day. But I really think that Sherpa X are not going to make it, and they're not going to win on the very first day, on the very first auction. I do think that Karura are going to be the winners on the Kusama parachain auction, just because there's so much hype with Phala Network, and Karura are the experimental network of Phala. So I do think they're going to be the ones that are going to win the first one, probably Moon River the second. This is just speculation again from my side, just assuming, basing it on the hype that we've got in the community, probably Plasm as well. Darwinia also has a good community, so I do see some of those maybe making it before SherpaX, but I do see SherpaX probably winning the 4th or 5th auction. And you got to remember here that these auctions take about 2 weeks in between, right? So we'll have to see. Nevertheless, it's still okay to see the price trade sideways for now, accumulating, pending this snapshot, of course, for the airdrop, which is due to happen during the Genesis block of SherpaX when they successfully bond as a parachain. Now, let's look at DOT here on Binance. Let me close out of MXC. So again, DOT, like Polkadot has just been on an absolute run here, right? As you can see, like this is back when they got listed in 2020. I remember seeing it at this price. That's when I did the first video on Polkadot explaining what Polkadot is, back when it was around 280 or $3. So as you can see here, we went to $5, and this was considered high back then. Like when I first looked at this, I remember this was like look at this pump. I mean, imagine you see it listed here, you get in around this price here, and then you see this pump. You're thinking, okay, this is definitely gonna drop, and it did, right? So yeah, as you can see, we've traded sideways for quite some time before we had that pop to 10, and then people realized the potential. More new people joined ever since the Elon Musk tweet. More people joined the crypto space, and then people discovered what Polkadot is, discovered its potential, and as you can see, more buying pressure here as projects are potentially looking to participate in the parachain auctions, trying to bond as parachains. So they're scooping up DOT like crazy. I know there was a lot of accumulation phase here. These are probably mostly bots trading between each other, and these are basically the new people that joined, and of course the projects that have been buying like crazy. So the question is now, where can we see DOT's price? Could we see a potential 2x from here? I know it seems unlikely, but as you can see here, we're forming an upward momentum here once again after we touched 42.28 as the all-time high, but we could potentially see it go higher now after this pop here, because we bounced off this moving average really nicely. And every time you see something run across the moving average, like any asset, when it's against this larger time frame moving average, which is the 99-day one, we can see the red one is the 99-day, it's always a bullish sign, right, that it's going to do well. Once it breaks below it, then we could potentially see it go into the bear trend, and then we could see lower prices. But for this, like, I have no doubt about it in my mind, with the hype that's going on at the moment with Polkadot, and also with the Kusama parachain auctions that are gonna kick things off, I really see Polkadot doing another 2x before the end of this year for sure. I want to be conservative here. I don't want to hype it up. It could happen sooner. It could happen by the summer, but we could potentially see this go to around $80 from this. So basically almost like double the all-time high from here. Probably by the summer, but I would say, to be on the conservative side, maybe by the end of this year. Just because of the hype, right? People are going to be buying it. People are going to be locking it up in order to participate in these parachain auctions. They're going to get the tokens. They know that their DOT is locked up. They're not going to get any staking rewards. But the good thing is that they're going to get those tokens, like for example Akala, Moonbeam, Plasm, all these solid projects, ChainX. So all these solid projects that you can vote for to help them bond as parachains, and then you're going to get rewarded in their tokens. Like ChainX have announced that they're going to have something special for the parachain auctions, so they're going to reward people with PCX in order for people to vote for ChainX. So yeah, you're basically going to need to lock that DOT up. If you haven't already watched that video that I did, please do watch it. Video from yesterday. It should pop up on the top right hand corner of the screen if you're watching this on YouTube, where I explain what the parachain auctions are and how they actually work. I've tried to break it down in a simple way thanks to Dan Reeser's article, and hopefully it'll make more sense to you. But let's take a look at Kusama here and see how Kusama has been doing. Kusama again has been on an amazing run up here. I mean, ever since they got listed on Binance, it was trading at like $30. It went as low as $23.15 here. This was like pretty much our last chance to get in on the low. As you can see here, this was like in October of 2020. So at the beginning of October was your last shot to get into Kusama cheap, because then you'd not know what it's like to be in a loss. You'll be constantly in an uptrend here, constantly in a profit, and then you'll just let it ride. So you can see here, I mean, when you had this parabolic run up here with these extended wide range green candles, then you knew that this is not going to come down anytime soon. And again, if this was anything else, I would probably say, yeah, of course this could come down, we could potentially see 130, but I mean, the parachain auctions are just around the corner. So even though this chart gives you that feeling that this could potentially go down, and again, I'm saying that it very likely could if it wasn't for what's to come with Kusama. But just knowing, like, you need to keep in mind the fundamentals here aside from the TA. If we're just going by pure TA here, I would say this could likely go down. This could likely revisit this area of 160. But if we go by fundamentals, which is the parachain auctions around the corner this month, that's when they're due to happen, right? This is like the last month of the first quarter of this year, and they said that the parachain auctions are supposed to launch in Q1. People are gonna have to buy Kusama in order to lock it up to partake in these parachain auctions. So it's a no-brainer here that Kusama could go higher. We could potentially see prices of over 300 bucks, 400 bucks. Again, to be conservative, I would say 2x from this, but we could potentially see it higher just because of the very low supply of like 9 million in circulation, if I'm not mistaken, with a 10 million total supply, 10% inflation per year. So yeah, the supply is so low that it's so easy to make this fly when people purchase large amounts. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind as well. Now let's look at Phala Network here. So this is one that I was particularly bullish on because I honestly didn't know that they're going to be the first ones to list. I didn't understand CZ's plan of how he's going to list this DOT related projects, the DOT ecosystem projects, because he did say that he's supporting DOT eco. So my question was then, does that mean that we're going to see other projects that are currently connected to Rokoku listed on here? So I've actually mentioned that in a video, and that's why I do think that because Phala Network is on Rokoku, is connected to Rokoku, and also Darwinia, and again, Phala was part of the first batch, right, together with Akala, with Plasm, and with Kilt. Now, none of those other tokens are purchasable off the market yet because they're going to be parachains. So you're only going to be able to get them if they bond as a parachain. Now I know people do have some ACA. I have some ACA. I have some Karura, but I cannot transfer them. They're bound to my wallet because they're in the airdrop section. Only because I took part in some festival that they held back in August 2020, and other people also hold that airdrop too. Basically anything you could have contributed with, be it trading, be it creating some stickers, writing some article. I've contributed with a tutorial. I've done a tutorial on how Akala's DApp works. And yeah, I mean, you can get that airdrop, and private investors probably got that airdrop too, but it's not going to be unlocked or transferable until they successfully bond as a parachain. So basically that's just like a placeholder to say you're entitled to an airdrop when we bond as a parachain. Okay, so it doesn't mean that you can sell it. Of course I could sell it to someone, but I would need to give them my whole wallet. I would need to, basically they would have to trust me that I wouldn't re-access that with a mnemonic key phrase or with a mnemonic phrase. So yeah, again, it's not transferable. You would have to sell the whole wallet to somebody in order for them to actually get it. So if anybody tries to sell you ACA or Karura, just know that it's not possible. The only way that they could is if they give you their wallet, and if they do, then they also have access to it. So you need to trust the individual. So yeah, it's not possible to get them. That's why they're even saying that there are no tokens on the market at the moment. But yeah, to get back to this, so Phala Network was one of the first that have bonded as a parachain. Interlay was in the second batch. The third batch was Darwinia with Crust and with some other project, and the Hydra DX2. And Darwinia is tradable. Again, Darwinia's Ring token and Katon, and also Crust is also tradable. CRU, the storage solution, which has very low supply. So this is just to basically tell you that I do think that we're gonna see any of those three listed on Binance Innovation Zone next, and then likely PCX from ChainX because it's also tradable. So anything that's tradable is likely going to get listed once they're in the spotlight. Being connected to Rokoku means you're in the spotlight. It shows Binance that you're willing, that you're ready to become a parachain, and that you're developing. So I think that PCX really need to go into the spotlight. Well, ChainX, the team, they really need to go into the spotlight by deploying to Rokoku, and they're not going to be next because we need to wait for the fourth batch, which is Clover and I believe Zenlink. But in the fifth batch, we're going to get ChainX. So I do think that if we see Darwinia's Ring or crossed listed in the innovation zone, there's no doubt in my mind that's going to clear any doubt that PCX is not going to get listed. I'm going to be positive, then I'm going to be like 99.99% sure that PCX will go to the Binance Innovation Zone, and I'm sure people are going to be super hyped, probably buying PCX just because they'll understand where I'm coming from, and basically just by explaining this, you'll understand the potential that this is going to present once PCX is on Binance. I mean, it's just unreal because of the huge volatility, because of the huge demand, because it's going to be in the spotlight, and because there's a lot of liquidity. So yeah, I mean, Binance being one of the top exchanges is definitely going to help PCX with adoption. More people are going to be joining the community, more people are going to be hyped up for the airdrop as well. So yeah, definitely something to look at. So yeah, this is pretty much it from today's video. I didn't want to make it too long. I just wanted to really thank you for the 10,000 subscribers, for sticking with me, and hopefully you'll continue to stay with me and to support this channel while I try to provide you content, mostly from the Polkadot ecosystem, to try and educate you and educate myself as brand new information gets released, such as the parachain auctions. I'll be doing tutorials on how you can actually bid and things like that. So I'll be doing tutorials on the different dApps, and there's a lot of stuff that is going to come within the Polkadot ecosystem itself. I know that there are other things out there, other ecosystems like Cosmos. I know Cardano are going to launch Goguen smart contracts very soon as well. So there are plenty of things to talk about, right? But thank you very much for staying with me, and if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. Please do like the video if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you in my next video. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.